And it's like a touchstone for so many people because television today isn't what it was back then. You know, it was that water cooler moment that everyone the next day at school, did you see what happened on Ricki Lake?
I'm Sali Christensen, the founder and CEO of Argent, a women's workwear brand. And this is Work Friends, a podcast for those who take their work, but not always themselves, seriously.
Work Friends.
Today on Work Friends, we have such a special guest who, for many of us, needs no introduction, Ricki Lake. Ricki got her big break as a teenager when she landed the iconic role of Tracy Turnblad in John Waters Hairspray. And just a few years later, she became the youngest talk show host in history with her self-titled show, Ricki Lake. When her talk show wrapped after 11 years, Ricki embarked on a range of professional projects, including acting, reality television, a brief return to talk show hosting, and executive producing a number of documentaries on topics close to her heart, including 2008's The Business of Being Born, which explores maternity care. Today, however, Ricki is in a different chapter of life and career. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to discuss it all with her, and yes, take a look back at the career that's made her a household name and a source of nostalgia for many. Now, on Work Friends, Ricki Lake. Hi, Ricki.
We've had a connection from like day one.
Second one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So we're pretty recent friends.
We are. This year, man, a lot has happened to me this year. And we met shortly after I moved here.
Well, we got connected through
Rachel Sklar.
Rachel Sklar.
Who I don't know. I met her at this Substack event. You know, I got here really in February. I was here the month of February after the fire, still kind of reeling from my new set of circumstances. And so I was getting invited, like I'm back in New York. I used to do my show in New York. I was, raised my kids early years here. So I'm a New Yorker, but I haven't lived here in 22 years. So coming back, on the heels of everything that happened, I'm in the mode of saying yes to things and putting myself out there. And so I went to the Substack party. I was brand new on Substack, met Rachel, and then she's like, you have to meet my friend Sali. You have to meet my friend. And she mentions your brand, which I didn't know of, which I'm not a businesswoman person, so wasn't familiar. And then I happened upon, like on that street, I think I randomly went in because I saw that's what she was mentioning. And then you happened to be there, and we just like...
Totally.
Yeah.
And then you allowed me to convince you to join us for our Work Friends dinner, which
yes.
I would say you were the hit of the event.
No.
It was so
there
fun.
Were so many
there.
fun, amazing powerhouse women there that were just gorgeous, all wearing your clothes, looking just so comfortable in their skin. Like every interaction I had, and a lot of them I knew who they were, and I was really a little starstruck. I mean, out of the gate, I sat down. Katie Couric said, "Sit down with me," and we start chatting. And I've always admired her. I've met her many, many times, but I felt like I became friends with her that night, and it was just one of many, many amazing women and conversations.
Well, I'm really happy we connected and are connected, and I'm very excited to have you here today.
And thank you for these clothes. Like, honestly, you were so generous to me. Like I lost everything, and so I'm so in love with your brand.
I mean, it's the least we could do. You've had a lot of change. I can't believe that. I mean, it's all happened within this past year,
A lot. I mean, a lot has happened in my life. Like, my life has been very much like a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And yeah, this year, January 7th, really was a doozy.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. And there's honestly tons to get into in your career. But first, we always start with an icebreaker. I want to hear about your biggest oh no moment this week. What's gone sideways and how did you handle it?
Oh, my God. Okay.
You're one of those people, too, that I feel like things go sideways and you don't even acknowledge it.
Yeah,
It's like you're an optimist.
Our Thanksgiving was almost ruined because my husband has walking pneumonia. So this is our first, like, I don't cook. I love hosting, but I'm very much like, get a plate, get your drink, like very casual. There's nothing formal about me, but this was in our new apartment. We were hosting my son's girlfriend and her family. Her mother was cooking for us. So I felt this responsibility, and I got this table, I'm in an apartment now. So I'm coming from a big house. I had no dining room table. We don't have a real dining room. So I got like this table, and I had to move all the furniture, and it was stressful, but it ended up being really great considering my husband was sick in bed the entire time.
Poor thing.
And we hosted Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if that's like an oh no moment, but I tend to overthink things and like get anxious about things, and then it all works out usually.
Oh, that surprises me. I feel like
100%.
you're easy. I feel like you're go with the flow.
I am, but in this case, when I think about, I had a lot of agita about wanting this to go a certain way.
Course.
Have it to be perfect for my son's girlfriend's family, and it ended up being fine. Like it ended up being more than fine.
I mean, so many things could go sideways, and it would still be great.
Yes.
Most likely,
Yes.
know.
Yeah,
As long
and
as
I think it's
vibes are
the
good.
bigger picture of just like this is likely going to be family. Like this is going in the direction of like we're going to be a blended family, and so that tickled me. Like I'm so into the fact that my boys are following their path and super happy and fulfilled and comfortable in their skin, and it's really fun.
I think it's
now.
endearing that you're stressed about the hosting more than anything,
I know. I guess in this case, because I don't really know them.
Totally.
You want to make a good impression.
You don't want to disappoint him.
Yeah. No, I did not. And I don't think I did. I think, that's the other thing. It's like, I think as we've gotten older, as my sons have matured, I think our relationship is now on more of like a peer relationship, kind of, It's like, it feels very much like a mutual respect. We enjoy our time together, and it's like, it's really a great time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that age, I think.
You have
Based
a
on
long
everything
way
I've heard,
away.
I sure do.
It's so weird
I'm
because
enjoying all the stages.
I know I'm older than you, but like I had my kids really pretty young, I guess, because I'm 57 and they're, well on their way out of the house and living their lives.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I could be your mother. I literally could be your mother. That is crazy. But see, I feel like we're contemporaries.
I do too. Same. Well, I mean, what a compliment to me though, too. Yeah, I was on Peloton yesterday and realized, oh my gosh, I'm in my 40s now because it tells you I've been in my 30s for the past decade, and I got it right when I turned 30. So.
Wow. So wait, when is your birthday?
New era, September 4th.
Wait, you're a Virgo like me.
You're a Virgo. When is your birthday?
Makes total sense. I'm the 21st.
What?
So you just turned 40.
I just turned 40.
Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
40
I
was a
love
great
this.
time.
Yeah,
I love
40's
turning
fun.
40.
40's really fun. I liked 30 too, though.
I love them all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. You grew up in Westchester, New York.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, and what stands out about that environment?
It was just a really kind of, I don't want to say bland is what comes to mind. It was just a very generic, small town, kind of sheltered, very white, very just middle class. I mean, I grew up middle class. My dad was a pharmacist. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. I was in the Brownies and, in choir and, all of that. Like I wanted to perform. I wasn't a standout. I wasn't a great student. I wasn't the best, but I was very well liked. That was my focus, was, not necessarily getting an education. It was really to be liked by everyone. And I wanted to be a performer.
Well, I'll be honest. I think being liked is arguably just as, if not more important in the working world.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So much about upward mobility, whether you get the promotion, whether you're thought of, and hiring
Wow.
decision is whether or not you're liked. Competence is a piece of it, obviously, but just being able to hold your own in conversation and connect with people, that is a skill that
And those are skills that are fleeting, I think, with what is
Agreed.
going on with social media. Yeah, I mean, and I am not like a typical, I'm not an academic. I didn't finish college. The 1 year I did go to college, I was a musical theater major, so I basically learned like a goose egg.
Yeah.
But I really do have good communication skills, and
and-
that's probably one of my superpowers.
And you talk about, well, of course, I mean, look at your career, but you talk about growing up slowly too, which I think is also a fleeting experience. Unfortunately, I think growing up slowly is an absolute gift.
It's gone. I mean, I think, it feels...
Sadly.
It's such a crazy time to be raising children. I feel like I missed... I love when I grew up. I love that we grew up without cell phones and, access to this technology. We were out playing, and if our friend didn't pick up, there wasn't even an answering machine when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And there's really something to be said about having that as your life and then technology taking over when you're well into your adulthood, So, yeah, it's crazy. I can't imagine having small children right now, honestly.
Yeah, it's stressful. Can you remember the first examples of work that made an impression on you?
Okay, so like I said, I've not had a typical
But you have, I mean, you've worked
I've
your
worked my
whole
ass
life,
off.
though.
I've worked
Yeah,
my
and you still
I've
work.
earned every single penny. So I don't come from money. I don't come from opportunity or nepotism. I happen to be very lucky and get the job of a lifetime when John Waters was looking to find his Tracy for Hairspray when I was 18. So that literally like opened every door. I couldn't get a job at the Gap. I tried to apply for a job at the Gap when I was 16 and they never called me for an interview.
For what it's worth, Wendy's did not hire me.
Really?
So
yeah, I mean,
and I was gonna get a job somewhere. I got a job at Banana Republic. So
you
sorry.
did.
Same
Okay,
family
I
as
only
Gap.
tried with the Gap, and then something else happened. I mean, my career consisted of babysitting when I was 12, and then Hairspray when I was 18.
But
know?
What were early examples of work? Like, what were you thinking you wanted to be, and were you thinking performance?
I mean, honestly, I didn't know what it would look like, but I wanted to be a star.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I grew up, watching Shirley Temple and the Little Rascals, old videos of that, and then seeing Annie on Broadway was a real turning point for me when I was about 7 or 8. I got to see it with the original cast. And I remember where I was sitting in that theater, I remember it sitting with my sister and my grandmother and wanting to be on that stage like those little girls. I mean, just like that yearning and that I cried when it was over because I didn't want it to end, and I met them all backstage, and I was just like something lit up inside of me. It's like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this someday. And my mother, who she was, I think, trying to protect me from rejection, but she told me I wasn't the starving orphan type and that I would not, succeed.
Mom.
Yeah, she really laid it down hard that she was going to reject the idea before someone else had the chance to. And so, I was a singer here in New York City when I was young, singing in these little clubs, and then I got Hairspray, and so that was really my gateway to having, a union card and getting a salary and per diem. I remember getting per diem, and I was just so happy to get free money.
But I mean, your career started so young. So you talked about this. You did 1 year of college at Ithaca College, and before you auditioned for Hairspray. Did it feel like, oh, this is my big break, and I've worked so hard for this, or did it feel like, what is even happening?
This felt like, because my mother and I had made a deal, I didn't want to go back to college. I was really unhappy at Ithaca. And so she said, okay, I'll give you 6 months basically to see if you can get any work in show business. And so I got the movie, and I was thinking, oh, this is great. I've got her, I'm keeping her at bay, basically. I didn't even really process that the movie would come out and that it would change my life in the way it did. And I've never been one to see the forest for the trees. I'm always kind of just go with the opportunity that's in front of me and kind of do my best and hope for the best. But yeah, so Hairspray came out, and then it literally did open every door. And then all these jobs came through, and I just was a working actor for a really long time. And then things stopped. And so I lost my house to the bank. It was foreclosed on me during the housing crisis in, 89, I think, in Los Angeles. So I literally, I'd taken all this money I'd earned, from the time I did Hairspray to the time I did Cry Baby, and I was on a show called China Beach, which you're too young to know. Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
It was a very critically acclaimed show on ABC about Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. And so I was on that show, and I didn't get picked up as an actor. You get picked up for a season, and then they pick you up for the next season. They didn't pick up my option, so I was basically fired, and I had a mortgage, and I was 21, and I couldn't pay my mortgage anymore. And so basically I lost my entire, what I'd put into the house, which was everything. Had to be, I was homeless for a little while, didn't know where I was going to go.
Wait, let's back up to getting Hairspray. Did you have a plan B if you didn't land any
I did not.
And I can't imagine you'd land a role like that without a ton of hard work. I feel like you're underselling all the performance, the classes, stuff like that.
If you called voice and movement class at 9 a.m. with Judith Pratt at Ithaca College work, no, I wasn't. No, I was that girl. I had an inner belief in myself and a confidence that I think a lot of young women that size maybe didn't have back then. It's hard. Self-esteem is a really hard thing when you don't look like everyone else,
And where was your house? So you bought a house in
the Hollywood Hills
Okay.
when I was 19. I had a business manager at that time that said I should be investing. I mean, it was so stupid because I was like, not only did I not have a partner, I was a virgin. I was like this young girl who had no business owning real estate at that age. A 3-bedroom. It was ridiculous. Anyway, it turned out being one of the best lessons of my entire life. Like I, truly just, learned to downsize. It was super humbling. And it was appropriate for me to be in a pool house versus a 3-bedroom house. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, yeah, I'm grateful for that hiccup.
Did we get new management too?
Yes, I did. I did.
But after Hairspray, that wasn't your first time working with John Waters, or
After-
that was your first time, but that wasn't your only time working with John Waters,
No,
right?
I made a bunch of movies with him. I kind of his muse after Divine. So Divine played my mother in Hairspray. Divine was his muse for so many years. Divine was, a male actor playing women. And he played my mother, and he died 8 days after the movie opened. So my huge break, my literally becoming a star overnight with this film was tainted, for lack of a better word. I mean, it was just by this tragedy of losing my co-star and the backbone that was John Waters' career. So yeah, that was super shocking. He died at 42 in his sleep. It was so sad. It's still something that like I can't believe like how that all happened.
Oh, and at that age, it's especially shocking. I think now having the lived experience that you do, I think there are tragic events that happen, but that's a really vulnerable time, I think, in your life.
It was so sad. It was, and even during the making of Hairspray, my grandfather died of AIDS during, and we were World AIDS Day was just yesterday, and I was thinking about it. We lost so many people, so many people in the industry that I knew through John Waters and that whole circle, but then my grandfather died from a blood transfusion. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off that path. When I lost my house, it must have been 1990. I had the house only for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I couldn't pay my mortgage. And so I had to walk away from it. And I was at a point where China Beach had not picked up my option.
Right.
So I was banking on that money, which I remember was $15,000 a week, which was so much money to me.
Totally.
Like, that was so much money. And so to be promised that and then to have that go away, and that was the only income I had. So I couldn't get, I was at the height of my weight. I was 260 pounds. I had lost that job. I lost that house. And I had no job in sight. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew, I was smart enough to know that, like, this business, being on television or wherever, you need a gimmick. Like, you need to have that thing that sets you apart from everybody else. And for me, being fat and being the cute girl that gets the guy, like Tracy Turnblad, that was great. But when I gained 60 pounds after that, between Crybaby and Hairspray, it wasn't cute anymore. It wasn't, like, people were over it. Kind of. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how in my mind I thought of it. And so I did the one thing that I could do at that time, because I couldn't control what job was coming. I couldn't control any of it. I could control how I took care of my body and what I put in my mouth. And so I decided to go on a very kind of secret crash diet. I starved myself basically and joined a gym and went away for a few months and I lost like 100 pounds.
Wow.
On my own. Yeah.
And what was the break coming out of that?
My talk show.
Your talk show, yeah, okay. Well, before we talk about your talk show, I want to ask one question around mentorship, because John Waters obviously played a big role in your break and
absolutely was a mentor to me, and continues to be.
Was there anyone else that was mentoring you or helping you build a career as an actress or thinking longer term or strategically?
No. I mean, I had my business manager, Howard Boris, who came in and helped me with, like, the foreclosure on my house.
Yeah.
Helped me. I repaid the bank. All my debts were paid off. I even owed my father money at one point. And so Howard helped me. So he was very much a mentor for me as well on the business side of things. And John was more on the sort of professional artist side.
Were there any other major mistakes outside of the house around contracts?
But I don't even look at that as a mistake.
Yeah, I love that. I mean,
all of it. And some of it has been like my own free will, and some have been circumstances. Like my divorce for a long time, my first marriage ending, I looked at as a failure. And I don't see it that anymore. Like I think we were together for the amount of time we were supposed to. We made these amazing children together. I learned so much about relationships, about myself. So they might be mistakes on the surface, but then you go deep and it's like, oh, that's a gift.
Yes.
Like seriously.
Starting Argent was very foreign to everyone around me. This was in 2015. Because it was very scary and risky. And to me, it was like, what's the worst that could happen? It's a very similar mindset. I mean, the worst case, I fail and then I re-enter corporate America. Like, okay, but I will have learned so much. I will have met so many people. Yeah. So I think that perspective is
balls to the wall. That's so cool.
Quite valuable. But it's similar to what you're talking about, right?
I love proving not only to the world, like reinventing myself, whether it's physically or taking on some new career thing, which I've done a lot of. Like I've had a lot of like left turns, but I love proving it to myself too.
Absolutely.
It's really empowering, and I get off on that. Having my baby on my own terms in my bathtub and making a movie about that subject matter and seeing that a lot of people actually give a shit about this subject matter too. And that's like, I'm super proud of like my accomplishments, and taking risks and saying fuck it,
100%. I also think the biggest gift people can give me is to not believe, to doubt. It's such a thrill.
Yeah,
for
my
me.
friends joke that I don't have the doubt gene, that I really, really, very rarely doubt.
I share that. I would argue that your mom gave you a gift too in that comment, and
definitely,
it just
prove her wrong.
Totally.
Yeah,
I've got a chip on my shoulder for sure.
Totally,
let's go.
Totally.
So all right, let's talk about Ricki Lake. I think so many of us grew up with Ricki Lake, the talk show, on our televisions. How did the show come about?
Yeah, so I was, as I told you, living like in a pool house, kind of licking my wounds after losing my house. I'd lost a significant amount of weight, but I was still a big girl. And I was kind of waiting in the wings for some opportunity. And so this was in the 90s. This was like 92 is when I met the team. And this kind of idiot savant television producer named Garth Anseer, he was under Brandon Tartikoff. Now, this is all before your time.
I know that name.
Okay, so he ran NBC. So he was the mastermind, and basically Garth was like the brainiac under him, and he was like a programming genius. And so he was looking at talk television at that time. So it was Oprah, Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael. Those were the three big ones. And they were all skewing over the age of 50. Mm-hmm. So the people watching were primarily women over the age of 50. And so he was looking at that genre and saying, how could I crack the code and kind of bring in a younger demo? So he first had Jane Pratt, who, if you know from Jane Magazine, she's really cool. And so for whatever reason, they didn't go with her. They cast me. And so I was just one of the women that they met with to potentially host the show. And so they, for whatever reason, picked me. I don't know. I'm a very good guest on talk shows. I'd been on Letterman a bunch of times. So they knew me from, being really candid and forthcoming and real and open. So they've hired me to do the pilot. At the time, I was so needing a job. I negotiated my own deal. I said, I'll do it for $5,000. I was like, I just need my rent paid for the next, 6 months, a year. And so my agent ended up negotiating, and I ended up doing the pilot, and then the pilot was picked up, which was syndication, so it's different than like regular network television. And this was back before there was really cable. This is like in 1993. Yeah, I launched September 13th, the same day that Conan O'Brien launched on his show.
Oh, I love him.
I guess that was the Tonight Show, right? And
wow.
Yeah, we went on the air, and it was a hit out of the gate. Like we would chart the ratings, and it was unreal how it just caught on so quickly. And I was really I loved it. It was so much fun. We just had a reunion just last month with a bunch of my producers that worked with me over the years. My show ran 11 years. I ended up I finished my contract and I didn't renew, and they didn't renew. We kind of went our own ways, separate ways after 11 years, because 9/11 had happened. I was living downtown. I watched it unfold firsthand. I had a newborn at the time. I had a 2-month-old and a 4-year-old, and it really, really affected me. and I left New York. I left my marriage, and I left my show, and I started anew, and I started a new chapter. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I've told the story before. But on 9/11, when the plane, I'm on the roof of my building, seeing one tower fall. I mean, I really thought we were dying that day, and I felt like if I could get through this, I want to do something that's more impactful in my mind. My show was super impactful in so many ways, and I have so much reverence for that platform and the opportunity and being so young and being the voice of young, marginalized people all around the world. It actually ran all over the world. It's crazy. But I wanted to do something that was more personal, and so that's where I soul searched about where I felt I could make a difference. What do I stand for? What do I believe in? And so my interest in birth, my obsession, I mean, it really became an obsession, became what is my greatest achievement, the business of being born.
2025 is a thing of the past, and so are generic New Year's resolutions. In 2026, it's all about what's tailored to you, and that goes for your wardrobe too. As always, Argent delivers a tailored start to 2026 with sharp suiting silhouettes, luxurious Italian fabrics, and always chic styles that exude confidence so you can get down to business or whatever else you're planning this year. See what Argent has in store at argentwork.com. I do want to talk about, 11 years is a lifetime, especially now in this kind of role. I don't feel like opportunities exist like this nowadays. But I grew up on a farm in South Carolina. We had 3 channels. We did not have cable. We had your show, you know? And so it was a fixture on televisions for my generation. We consumed you for a decade of our lives when we're, young, running around, doing whatever we're doing. So, you just had such a huge impact on so many people. It's a different skill set, I would say, than what you came, it's hosting a talk show is hard,
it's
right?
Easy.
To you it's easy, but
to me, it's
acting and hosting a talk show, those are different skills. And you mentioned in an interview once that playing Tracy Turnblad made you a better talk show host. Can you speak
Oh my
to that?
God. Let me think what I was referring to. For me, I don't look at it that I was acting in Hairspray. It felt very much like I was just bringing myself into this role and wearing costumes that were from the 60s, So it didn't feel that far removed from me and who I was. I think I think maybe what I was getting at is like Tracy was such a role model and such like the sort of the epitome of an underdog, and an ally. And so I think that being my introduction to sort of the mainstream, I think laid the groundwork or the foundation for me, because people knew I'm not full of shit. Yeah. I'm not phony. I'm kind, I'm fun, I'm open, I'm transparent, I'm flawed, I'm chubby, so I think that really was the right kind of recipe for people wanting to share their darkest secrets with me, and they felt safe in
totally.
There's
an authenticity to you and a kindness. So I think that's like the full package in terms of this role. For those who don't know, so Ricki Lake, the talk show was always a good time, sometimes rowdy or risque. Looking back, how would you describe the show today to someone who's never watched it?
It was a phenomenon, and it was a party, and it was like a feel-good show, even though there was like stuff that was shady on the show and a lot of cheating and a lot of confronting whatever. There was drama, but it was not like a gotcha. It was more like a feel-good party atmosphere. I treated everyone with respect. Everyone had a voice. Everyone was, the underdog was always kind of lifted up by the audience. And if people were jerks, that came out too. But I think there was a real mutual respect, I think, and there were characters, and I don't think a show like that could happen again today.
Well, I want to ask what episode has stood the test of time.
Oh my God, I don't know, because I've done so many, and I never watched it. Like I never really watched the show.
It's resurfacing.
We
were talking about
it's
this
all
earlier.
over YouTube, and it's crazy how they go viral. And it's like a touchstone for so many people, because television today isn't what it was back then.
No, not
you know,
at all.
it was that water cooler moment that everyone the next day at school, did you see what happened on Ricki Lake, you know? So I recognize that, but it, you know, I don't know. I was so ready to be done with it when it was done.
I can understand that.
I was
You
over
were young
it.
still too.
I was 20, went on the air, I was 24, and I went off the air at 35.
Yeah, I mean that's very.
And I went through a divorce at the same time. Like I was like my whole life kind of just changed. I mean, every aspect of my life changed with the ending of that show.
The last question I'm going to ask about it is, I'm curious to know what people ask you about most often now. Like, what is there something that are there consistent themes, or is there a question that you get?
You know, they want to know if it was real.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and it was real for the most part. I mean, we got scammed a handful of times, and we usually busted them on the air, sent them home on Greyhound as opposed to on a flight. Like, we had fun with them. Yeah, we would totally have fun with the people that tried to scam us. But it was real, and it was like, it did do a service. Like, that's what I think for a long time I was like, oh, my show was so fluff and it was nonsense, and it was, you know, a lot of, you know, people yelling at each other, but like, we did talk about gay relationships like every other relationships. We really did sort of represent the, you know, that age, you know, that what they wanted to talk about, what was important to them at that time. And I'm ultimately super proud of what we did on that show.
Okay, so 9/11 happens, end of the show, divorce.
Well, the show had to run for another year and a half. So, actually 3 years. So 9/11 happened. My contract was over in 2004. But I was going back and forth. I bought a place in LA. I went through a divorce in 2003 to 2005. Yeah. And so, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
no,
said, the end of the show.
you really started rethinking your priorities, your goals in your career, in your life.
I did not feel safe in New York after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I had the National Guard in my neighborhood for a long time, and I was having to go back to work and doing these insipid topics that felt that much more silly after something like that happening. So yeah, I just was kind of, I mean, it wasn't like a midlife thing. I was 35, but I really wanted to shake things up. I wanted to, I just wanted like my name. I don't know. It sounds really, I don't know, it sounds shallow when I think about it, but what really was, I wanted to like have a deeper impact on people. And so I really, really wanted to switch gears. It wasn't about money anymore. It wasn't about, you know, it was really about like what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want, you know, where can I use my voice and my platform? And so that's when I got on this train of making documentaries, and it's such a different experience, you know, and I funded my first one myself. You know, it was 3.5 years. It was a project that was such a labor of love, and unknown, you know, and it turned out to be the most rewarding thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fascinating shift, because I would say that a lot of the work that you've done has been behind the scenes. So you've produced documentaries. The most notable is probably, and you mentioned it, The Business of Being Born. You've called this film your legacy. Why?
I hope so. I hope when I die, that's what they say first. Because it was about something really important. And you know, when I was having my babies in 97, my first son, you know, I think I just happened upon, like, it was like just luck. Someone I was working with had a dear friend who just had a natural birth with midwives. And so I saw her like the next day after she had her baby, and she had this perfect baby in her arms, and she was glowing and telling this birth story. And I was just like, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm a type A Virgo, where I plan things for yesterday, you know, like I am. And
Same.
so I'm like, that's the birth I want. I was just starting a family plan, thinking about starting a family, and I was like, I met her, heard her story, saw her with her baby, and I'm like, I'm doing that. And so when I got pregnant, the first time I tried with my first son, found these midwives, wanted this natural birth, wanted this whole thing, and my circumstances were different because, you know, we call it the cascade of intervention, and you know, so this became when I didn't in school study anything that I was super, super passionate about. I finally found the thing that I was really interested in. And so I wanted to explore birth, the art of birth, midwifery care, what is happening, the C-section rate, insurance protocols, natural birth being taken away from women, they're being less empowered, so they just went down this rabbit hole. And ultimately that turned into this film and me having my water birth, home birth in my apartment in the West Village 4 years later.
I read one book preparing for childbirth, and it was the Guide to Natural Childbirth.
Ina May Gaskin's book.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the culture of birth and our like mindset towards it is so broken. I had really great experiences, both kids, natural childbirth, and I go out of my way to share that with everyone.
Yeah.
We're meant to feel everything. And coming out of having Charlie, who's my first, this is the drug that is released as a result of having kids, but I was texting everyone I knew that they needed to have kids.
The
and I would never do that.
oxytocin rush that
Mortifying.
when you get to experience a natural birth, and I would argue like in my home, like being in my sacred space with the people I chose to be there, trusting my care provider and my body. I have chills. I have full body chills
Same.
talking about it. It's revolutionary.
Best experiences of my entire life, the two of them.
I'm literally like, I can't tell you, my body is lit up right now thinking about it. And my baby, that baby was born 24 years ago. And it still brings me back into this opportunity that I was able to have to be so empowered and so, I revered myself, like that, being able to do that. And it wasn't easy to do. It's not easy.
No.
Everyone tells you you're crazy. Everyone tells you, that's not safe or whatever. The health department tells you it's not. It's crazy.
I would disagree with that. Other countries treat it very differently. So that's what the Ida Mae Gaskin book talks about. So it's like in other countries, Japan and Sweden, I think, are the two that she really focused on. But the culture of birth is completely different here in the U.S. and leave it to us because we're
to
capitalist.
Fuck it up.
Well, it's a business. You have to understand that it's a business. When you go into a hospital, their goal is time in, time out, and how do we shorten the amount of time we spend on you, and how do we drive up the costs of your visit.
Yeah, and these poor doctors, their malpractice insurance, they can't even afford it. So many labor and delivery doctors and midwives are getting out of it because it's just the risk, there is a risk in birth.
Yeah.
There's an inherent risk no matter where you give birth. And anyway, it's
what a great legacy though. No, it's such an important topic, I think. I think to just sort of rebrand birth and that whole journey and recovery and what that looks like. An unmedicated natural childbirth, like that is a gift because you can bounce back quite quickly. It's the glow
and
that
there are doctors that we interview in the film where we say, how often do you get to see a fully natural birth? And they're like, never. Like, so it's, I don't know. That movie is 18 years old. It came out in 2008. It's as relevant today as it was when it came out.
Completely agree. Yeah, on that note, there's still so much work to be done. I'd be curious to hear from you, like what the priorities would be right now
oh my God, well, Black maternal health is just such a mess. And in New York City, it is a horrible place to have a baby. There are not a lot of options. There's no freestanding birth center in Manhattan. Back when I was having my second and exploring my options, there was Elizabeth Seton, which was a birth center right around the corner from me. And I met with the midwives there. I was pregnant, and I was going to decide home birth versus birth center. And St. Vincent's was the hospital that existed down there too. And they actually convinced my husband that it was no different than having it at home. So that helped for him to come to that decision to have the baby at home. And I'm so grateful because they could have used my business. They could have used my name being attached to their birth center, and they, honored what was best for me. So yeah, there's so many things these days that are making it that much harder. The pandemic with, having, I can't even imagine.
I had a baby May 2020.
Oh God.
I feel very fortunate because I had them both in California, and it was my second. So I felt like, but yes, it was when New York was not allowing.
Yeah, you couldn't bring a partner with you.
Which is bananas,
right,
because you were out of your mind. Like,
wait, so where did you deliver in California?
Stanford.
Oh,
for the first.
SF. Okay.
And then Santa Monica.
Oh.
There was like a women's center.
St. John's?
No.
Who was your midwife?
I didn't have one.
You didn't have one?
Mm-mm. I'm like, I think it's partially genetic, but I just I'm Virgo. I had
Wait,
my
did you
plan.
have a free birth?
What does that mean?
Without an attendant? You had the baby without a medical professional?
No, I went to the hospital, but
Oh.
at the first I was like ready to go. I think Charlie came out within an hour.
Wow.
And then Ruth came out within 30 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I was
wild.
early. I was like walking, talking, telling them like, we came early. You told us to come early. And then they asked me if I could wait to push. And I said, no, I cannot. And then, yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Wow.
But it was amazing. And I try and talk about that because so many people were quick to tell me their horror stories. And there are so many horror stories.
That's why you telling your beautiful birth story, I think, is so important. It's
I agree.
Yeah, because they just need the seed of like, that's what's possible.
It's possible. And
Yeah.
it's not only that, it's like reclaiming the narrative around how important it is to be a mom in any version that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like there's this like real cultural tension right now between working moms and non-working moms and this, that, and the other. And that's like the tale as old as time with women being
Mm-hmm.
pitted against one another. No, all women succeeding and being able to pursue whatever form of existence that they want, that is like what we want to achieve.
Yep.
And we all need to like support one another on that journey.
Absolutely.
But I love being able to work and
Yep.
having the caregiving professionals that we
I
do.
loved it too. I loved it.
know?
And I actually, I had the best nanny in the world. My nanny, she was a CNN hero. Okay.
Oh, no way.
She became a CNN
No
hero
way.
while she was my nanny.
Oh.
She started a school for AIDS orphans in Malawi, where she's from, while she was my nanny. So she was the Mary Poppins. I can't even tell you. Marie Da Silva is such a hero of mine. But I'm a big believer that like being a working parent made me a better mother. Like I was a better mom, the quality time I spent with them when I wasn't working. And I had, those, extraordinary jobs where I worked 3 days a week. I did my shit, it was a very cushy situation for me. But I was a big, big believer, like working was better for me.
Same. I actually think my friends who have chosen the path of full-time mom and have adopted a bit more of like what we would call a traditional role where they're also responsible for cooking and taking care of their family. Like I couldn't do that. I think that's the hardest job in the world.
Yes. I agree.
So I've certainly leaned on help in both my partner and then just our infrastructure in general.
Yeah.
Okay, back to your career.
Okay.
So can we quickly touch on when you came back to TV for the Ricki Lake show? So Ricki Lake,
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. So Ricki Lake ended in 2004 and then the Ricki Lake show debuted in 2012. You won a daytime Emmy for it.
I did.
But the show was canceled after one season.
The show is canceled after one season.
So why did you want to revisit that role after stepping away for almost a decade? And do you have any regrets about? You don't have regrets. You've already
I
told
don't
me,
have
but-
any regrets, but for a long time I did regret it because it wasn't my goal to come back and like fail at it. I was sold a bill of goods, to be honest. Like the company. So every year they'd kind of try to woo me back. And I wasn't really interested. But after I put out The Business of Being Born and the follow-up series that we did as well, the 4-part series after that, I felt like I had more of a voice. Like when I did my show in the 90s, I didn't really have a sense of who I was,
Yeah.
And I felt like, by putting out that material and kind of finding my passion, I felt like, okay, I would love to maybe come back and do more of like a Phil Donahue. Not that I'm in the same realm as him. He was such an amazing intellectual, incredible interviewer. But like, I wanted more elevated content, like more thought-provoking, more like lifting the audience. And the company that I went into business with did not want that. And so we kind of it just wasn't a good fit. And it ended, and I wanted it to end. And And then surprise, they gave me the award for my work, which was so funny. And I was on vacation in Ibiza at the time. Like when I got nominated, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. I was canceled.
It was already done.
Steve Harvey was the big hit at that time. His show had launched and was a huge hit. So he was nominated. All these people were nominated. I'm like, I'm not going to win. My friends are like, you're going to win. I'm like, I'm not winning. I'm not canceling my vacation. I'm going to Ibiza. And I was literally like 4 a.m, after being at the club, my phone is blowing up. You won. I'm like, what did I win? And I won for best talk show host. It was crazy.
How did that
And
feel?
It burned in the fire. The award.
Oh.
It burned in the fire.
Oh.
I know. I'm going to try to get another one, but I don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, you have the honor.
I have. Yeah, it happened. I know it happened. It's
did-
in my Wikipedia.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a feather in your cap, though.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was totally, yeah. And I mean, I've never really won a lot of awards or anything, but it was so nice to be recognized in that way. And I do think I am a good talk show host. I have whatever those skills are. I'm a really good listener. I'm super curious, open about my own, so it's like, I know, like I was good in that role.
So this has stuck with me since we first met. When I first asked you to be on this podcast, and you've mentioned it even on this episode, you have alluded to the fact that you weren't working, that you're in a different chapter at the moment, and we talked about this at the top. You've been through a traumatic year personally with losing your home in Malibu, and now you've moved across the country. What defines this time in your life and in your career? Because to me, I consider you sort of an always-on, ambitious, professional woman. There's no doubt in my mind that you're very much part of the community that we're seeking to build, and there's so much value in your career and in your story, and continues to be.
I'm open to opportunity, but I am not hungry for anything. I mean, I'm not. Like I'm like, okay, what is next? Because people ask me, what are you doing these days? I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm really in a place of like joy. And I was a year ago this time, I was in the best state of contentment and like reaping the fruits of my labor. Like like I said, I don't come from anything. Everything I have, I've earned myself. And so there was something like building this home in Malibu, creating this sacred space where my husband's ashes are, and it was such like more than a home for me. And to lose that and have to switch gears very abruptly, come back to New York, a place I fled as quickly as I could after 9/11. And then here I am fleeing Los Angeles after losing my entire neighborhood and coming back here. And yet I'm having like the time of my life. Like I'm having so much fun falling in love with this city that I really had fallen out of love. And we're just embracing all that is in front of us right now, which is so many gifts. Like this has been, I mean, I can't say it's totally been a gift because it's been a nightmare. And the things I've lost when I just go in my head all day long, particularly with clothes. Like with clothing, I had such a collection of all the things I loved for so long, and they fit me again, and I was feeling so good in my body, and I was just like and so to have all of it, it's just been really, that's hard. I'm not working per se a tradition. I've never worked a traditional way.
Totally, but I think that is the world that we're living in now. I don't know that we will see, like lifers at companies the way that we used to for our parents' generation.
Yes.
I think that work has transformed, and I think that you've been a pioneer in that. Like you've had you've dabbled in a lot of different things. Right now, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're working on a documentary about wildfires,
well,
right?
Yes, I'm involved with this project called Big Rock Burning, which is a 28-minute short about this community that's right near where I lived, called Big Rock. And it's about that community rallying, coming together, and most of them lost their homes, but some of them fought the fire, stayed, and saved their houses. So it's a really like heartfelt, beautiful story of this community. So I'm sort of involved later stages. I didn't make the film, but I'm helping to amplify it and promote and get it out to the world. Because if it can happen in our neighborhood, it can happen anywhere, and community is so important.
Agree. Okay, so I'd love to close this out by asking some advice. We've touched on this, but from the time the public learned your name, you were a celebrity who challenged the status quo and the beauty standard of women we see on film and TV. What advice would you give to people who are entering a career where they don't feel like they're represented or like they're the underdog?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just being true to yourself and not compromising your integrity, really have like a real sense of self. I mean, that's just like key. You know, I'm not in the workforce. Like, I mean, I know because my sister is like the opposite. She's in a corporate job and the challenges that go along with that. And she takes it personally, you know? And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think my advice is shite because I don't even know. But I think I've always managed to stay really like true to who I am through everything, and that's been invaluable.
Yeah, I think confidence is what you have showcased throughout your career and continue to showcase in your storytelling. And I think that's, if you distill your answer just now, even, it really is understanding who you are and bringing the best version of yourself.
And being kind to yourself, you know. I think I spent a lot of time in my life like hating what I saw in the mirror, you know, definitely having moments of that, you know, and that isn't very self-serving. So yeah, I really like who I am, like I really do, and I think that a lot of that comes with age. I'm the shit. Like I've raised really great kids. I love the career I've had. I love the partner I am to my husband. I love the good time that I am. You know, I'm a lot of fun, and you know, I'm still getting better with age, but I'm into me, and I'm into this time in my life.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, we've come to the end of our episode, and that means it's time for my favorite segment, Would You Rather? Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather start work at the crack of dawn or burn the midnight oil?
No, crack of dawn.
Oh, Virgo through and through.
Crack of dawn. First flight out every time.
Yep.
6 a.m.
The fact that you don't embrace working woman is crazy. You're like such a working woman. Everything about you. Would you rather dress like a 20-something in the 90s or like a 20-something in the present day?
Oh, 90s.
For sure, 90s.
Forever 21, size 14.
Would you rather go back to school to learn a new skill or teach what you know to a class of newcomers?
Oh, that's really... I mean, I think I want to teach them.
I want to take that class.
You do? Okay. I don't know what the class is, but I could teach something.
Would you rather reprise a role you've played before or revisit a past guest story?
Oh my God, the first one. These,
I haven't read these yet. Would you rather only answer emails with emojis or only answer calls on FaceTime?
Oh, I hate typing on my phone. I hate it. So I'm like a audio. I like leaving audio.
So
or FaceTime. I'm fine with FaceTime.
I thought you might say FaceTime.
FaceTime's good.
Would you rather make another cult favorite film or a successful talk show?
Oh, cult favorite film.
Would you rather accidentally leave your mic unmuted or your camera on?
Either. I'm an exhibitionist.
Would you rather start a career in entertainment in the 90s or the present day?
Oh, 90s. Let's bring back the 90s
all
day, every day.
The 90s. They're having a moment, too.
They are.
Ricki, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Sali, you're the best. You're one of the best things that came out of 2025, meeting you and becoming your friend.
I feel the same, though.
I love being in your orbit. Thank you for your generosity.
You get what you give, and you give a lot. So thank you. Thanks for listening to Work Friends, a podcast from Argent. Listen and follow on all podcast platforms. Subscribe to the Argent YouTube channel for more clips and bonus content. And follow us on Instagram @Argent for all the latest. And before you go, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment. It means so much to us. I'm Sally Christensen, and we'll see you next time.
Work Friends.
Work Friends is produced by Gina Marinelli with editing by Ryan Woldoff. Our theme music is by Karina DePiano and Melanie Naima. This episode was recorded at Podstream Studios in New York, New York.